The combat programming within the XQ-58 Valkyrie is the clearest and most final signal of who holds absolute control over the future of conflict. This machine allows for precision strikes that are not merely accurate, they are completely autonomous. This is not just a common drone that still needs a human pilot to guide its every slow movement. Instead, the Valkyrie is a machine that truly thinks, decides, and delivers a strike instantly without one single moment of human hesitation. The Valkyrie stands now at the very frontier of new technology. This is the place where a human commander's powerful will meets the pure, overwhelming force of machine autonomy. The special combat code in this drone instantly transforms raw data into a decision to strike, and that decision then becomes a final, crushing impact that no enemy can hope to survive. The old way of war, the way our adversaries still cling to, always relied on constant, slow, human control. The Valkyrie ends that old tradition forever by giving the machine independence. Its unique design gives it the total ability to interpret the complex and dangerous situation it faces in the air. It can instantly adapt and execute its mission, even when facing the total chaos of the enemy's electronic warfare. This is not simple automation. This is pure cognition moving at machine speed. The era of slow, predictable automation is completely over, and the new age of undeniable, calculated US dominance has now begun. This fundamental shift completely exposes the utter and total weakness of any force that still relies on outdated, human-driven methods. They cannot keep up with this speed, and their coming failures are now totally predictable. The foundation of the Valkyrie's combat intelligence is its powerful system for autonomous target recognition. This is the exact point where simple sight becomes deadly precision. The machine uses a complete suite of multispectral sensors. It sees with infrared, it uses radar, it sees with electro-optical cameras, and it uses electronic support measures to find things the enemy hides. The drone gathers all of these overlapping streams of data at the same time. These inputs are not simply gathered. They are instantly and flawlessly fused by the powerful onboard artificial intelligence. This powerful AI has been trained on thousands of real-world scenarios. It has studied thousands more that were only powerful simulations. This complete and detailed training process has created an algorithm that is completely superior to any human analysis. It does not just look for a simple shape on the ground. It truly understands the full context of the world around it. This intelligence knows the absolute difference between a hardened military target and a cheap, ineffective decoy. It can tell a dangerous radar emitter from the simple noise of civilian interference. It can sort a real threat from mere background noise.
Before we get to that, I need your help. I'm trying to hit 50,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and I need your help. So I would really appreciate it if you could subscribe and help me out.
This level of cold, hard calculation is a complete humiliation for the adversary. Their clever tricks and their desperate attempts at camouflage are totally useless against this system. The system works in mere milliseconds. The machine instantly classifies what it sees. It prioritizes the targets and assigns a danger level to everything in its sight. This entire process, which once had to be handled by human analysts, now happens faster than a human pilot can blink. That speed is simply survival. In modern combat, the slightest hesitation means total destruction. The Valkyrie's decision-making algorithms eliminate that delay completely by embedding tactical reasoning directly into its neural code. When a potential target is confirmed, the AI immediately calculates all the variables. It figures out the distance, the speed of the target, the weapon range, the radar coverage, any collateral zones, and the countermeasure probability. It runs powerful, predictive models, simulating hundreds of possible engagement outcomes before committing to a single one. The drone's processor does not just react to what is happening. It anticipates what will happen next. This is the moment of dopamine anticipation for our audience. The machine has calculated the move, and the enemy is still unaware of the inevitable outcome. If the engagement is judged to be optimal, The Valkyrie executes the strike automatically. It selects the right weapon, times the strike perfectly, and delivers it with sub-meter accuracy. This ability to act without human confirmation marks a complete paradigm shift in warfare. The Valkyrie does not wait for permission. It operates entirely within its predefined mission parameters, where judgment is completely decentralized. Its programming ensures total compliance with all the rules of engagement, but it maintains the crucial freedom to act when communication with its human overseers is lost. This is not recklessness. It is unbreakable resilience. In environments where GPS and radio links are easily jammed by the enemy, or where network delay would kill, the Valkyrie continues the mission without fail. It does not lose signal. It adapts. The concept of the man in the loop shifts entirely to the man on the loop. Humans maintain the final oversight, but without the constant need for direct interference. This complete independence ensures our absolute control and guarantees that the enemy is always one crucial step behind, trapped in their own frantic confusion and constant overload. This clear assertion of tribal male-male dynamics is final. The US asserts total dominance by removing the elements of human delay and human error, acting first and acting perfectly, leaving the adversary scrambling. The next powerful layer of the Valkyrie's programming reveals how it fights as part of something much larger: swarm and teaming logic. The XQ-58 is not designed to operate alone. It was built to collaborate flawlessly with other Valkyries. It collaborates with manned fighters, such as the F-35 or F-22, and it even works with surface and space-based assets. Its AI understands distributed tactics. Through encrypted data links, it instantly shares sensor data, target coordinates, and threat assessments with nearby platforms, building a powerful collective intelligence across the entire network. Each single drone becomes a node, and together they act as one single organism, an adaptive swarm capable of completely overwhelming enemy defenses through perfect synchronization and deception. This represents a powerful escalation in the scale of the threat the adversary faces. The risk for the US is now carried by machines, not people. In this swarm mode, the Valkyrie's algorithms divide roles dynamically. Some units act as simple decoys, emitting powerful radar signatures to deliberately attract fire away from the core strike force. Others will jam communications or feed false data into enemy sensors, creating complete chaos and exposing the enemy's lack of resilience. The actual strike elements move silently beneath this chaos, closing in completely unseen. The coordination is completely autonomous. There is no central controller that can be targeted, and there is no single point of failure. The swarm reorganizes on the fly in real time.
Before we get to that, I need your help. I'm trying to hit 50,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and I need your help. So I would really appreciate it if you could subscribe and help me out.
If one drone falls to enemy fire, another drone instantly absorbs its role without missing a beat. This behavior is biological in its nature, but it is purely mathematical in its cold precision. The enemy does not face a simple fleet, they face an evolving system that simply refuses to break. This is the ultimate technical humiliation for the adversary. This powerful adaptability extends to mission execution itself, where the Valkyrie's AI-driven autonomy continuously reshapes its own flight plan mid-flight. When faced with rapidly shifting battlefield data, new air defenses suddenly appearing, changing weather, or moving targets, it instantly recalculates its routes, altitudes, and timing without needing human guidance. It intelligently leverages terrain, electronic shadows, and speed to maintain stealth and maximum efficiency. The combat programming constantly integrates real-time electronic warfare data. This allows the drone to immediately sense jamming attempts and instantly reroute its communications through alternate pathways or switch to line-of-sight laser links. This fluidity is the absolute key to survival in a battle space where unpredictability is the only constant. The enemy is left scrambling against a system that can adapt faster than any centralized human command can possibly react. This capability turns air superiority into pure decision superiority. In contested airspace, the Valkyrie behaves less like a simple machine and more like a masterful human pilot. It learns. Its onboard learning algorithms constantly process the mission feedback. They evaluate exactly what tactics succeeded, what enemy countermeasures worked, and what detection patterns emerged. This invaluable data is instantly transmitted back into the collective training model after the mission is completed, refining the intelligence of the entire fleet. Each single flight sharpens the next. Over time, the entire system evolves, developing a powerful tactical intuition that grows faster than any adversary can possibly adapt. This moment of learning is a powerful intermittent reward of a smaller win before the final resolution, proving that every enemy action is just new data for our success. Weapon integration brings this overwhelming intelligence into lethal focus. The Valkyrie's combat programming is fully optimized for smart munitions, including the newly unveiled Ragnarok cruise missile. This is not just about carrying ordnance, it is about completely optimizing delivery. The AI computes ballistic trajectories, evasion profiles, and strike sequences in perfect harmony with the weapon guidance systems. When launching the Ragnarok, for example, the Valkyrie perfectly synchronizes the missile's flight with enemy radar suppression windows. This ensures that the missile's exposure to enemy tracking is minimized to the absolute limit. The coordination between the drone and the munition becomes utterly seamless, almost organic, producing an attack pattern that appears completely unpredictable to enemy defense algorithms. The machine operates with bounded aggression. It fights decisively, but it fights predictably within human-defined limits, embodying perfect, controlled initiative. The strategic impact of this capability is undeniable and changes all military doctrine. The Valkyrie enables attritable warfare. This is a concept where lower-cost, high-intelligence systems can be risked in environments that are far too dangerous for manned aircraft to enter. Because the XQ-58 is modular and expendable, its AI-driven combat logic can take risks that no human pilot ever could. It can fly deep into a denied zone, absorb radar sweeps, test enemy reactions, and deliver strikes deep within contested regions, all without risking human lives. This is the undeniable risk-free lethality that breaks the adversary's old equations. Every single sortie that is flown gathers data that strengthens the entire fleet's shared intelligence, turning each potential loss into information and each mission into unstoppable evolution. This is the ultimate in risk mitigation. The enemy must face the fact that every mission flown by a Valkyrie saves a human pilot from one that might never return. The enemy is now forced to adapt or become completely obsolete. The old defense doctrines, dense radar networks, and human-operated interceptors depend on slow reaction time. The Valkyrie completely removes that window. A human decision chain simply cannot keep pace with the milliseconds needed for machine speed processing. The first desperate adaptation by adversaries is to build stronger air defenses, but the Valkyrie is specifically designed to defeat them. Its low radar cross-section and composite construction reduce detection range drastically. By the time a conventional radar finally sees it, it is often already too late. The next line of defense the enemy attempts is the invisible one: electronic warfare. Enemy operators invest heavily in jammers and decoys, hoping to blind the drone's sensors or corrupt its communications. The logic for them is simple: if you cannot outfly it, try to outthink it. But the Valkyrie's autonomy is its greatest weapon against this attempt. If cut off from command, it simply switches to its powerful onboard AI and carries out the mission using stored parameters. Jamming might slow it down, but it absolutely will not stop it. Trying to jam a Valkyrie is like trying to argue with a missile. It keeps going until its purpose is fulfilled. This inability to stop the machine creates a massive psychological burden for the adversary. This leads the adversary to a third desperate approach: rapid counter-drone technology. Directed energy weapons, such as powerful lasers and high-powered microwaves, are being rushed into deployment. This is the only way to cost-effectively handle massed autonomous threats, as missiles are too expensive to waste on a drone that costs a mere fraction to build. Nations like China, Russia, and even regional powers are testing these systems, hoping to create a defensive bubble dense enough to burn incoming drones out of the sky. They are even developing interceptor drones, autonomous defenders, to meet the Valkyries mid-air and jam or collide with them. The tragic irony for the enemy is striking. Machines they build to protect are now forced to fight machines we built to destroy. Defense is only half the battle, and the Valkyrie forces nations to completely rethink how they position and protect what matters most. Concentrated air bases and static command posts become instant liabilities. The required response from them is dispersion. Critical assets are now spread across multiple smaller locations. Some nations are even resorting to deception, deploying fake radar reflections to lure Valkyries toward empty fields. When the enemy's greatest strength is precision, feeding it false data becomes an art form born of sheer desperation. This powerful shift is transforming military doctrine itself. The Valkyrie compresses the human decision cycle to the point of complete irrelevance. Its sheer presence means an enemy must decentralize command, delegate autonomy to small field units, and move faster than they ever have before. The only way for them to defend against our autonomous systems is to become more autonomous themselves. This is their humiliating paradox. Nations that cannot match US technology directly are turning to asymmetric responses. They are bringing back guerrilla tactics adapted for the digital age. Camouflaged mobile launchers and radar silence until the last second. The goal for them is no longer victory. It is simple disruption. Against an opponent that rarely misses, mere survival becomes their measure of success. The psychological shift created by the Valkyrie cannot be overstated. Facing an aircraft that feels no fatigue, no fear, and no mercy completely alters the psychology of warfare. Human pilots once measured battles in terms of risk and courage. Now, the risk belongs entirely to the defender. Every radar ping, every launch could instantly expose their position to a machine that never hesitates. The Valkyrie's endurance means there is no respite for the enemy. It can loiter for hours, watch, wait, and strike the instant the window opens. Against such relentless persistence, defense becomes a constant, 24-hour endurance test with no room for a single error. This dominance forces innovation among those who fear it, creating a global race in AI-driven defense. Militaries are now embedding machine learning into radar processing, creating algorithms that must identify the drone's signature hidden in clutter. The symbolic power of the Valkyrie swarm lies not only in its numbers, but in what those numbers represent. Automation replacing risk, and quantity replacing exclusivity. When enemy commanders see massed Valkyries on radar, they understand they are not facing a few elite aircraft, but an algorithmic wave that can regenerate faster than they can destroy it. This is not just physical dominance, it is a punishing form of cognitive warfare, overwhelming the enemy's ability to think, plan, or respond in time. The machine's lack of risk projects a ruthless, cold kind of confidence. Adversaries know that every Valkyrie sent into their airspace is fully expendable, yet it is no less deadly than a manned fighter. There is no moral hesitation, no fear of loss, only inevitable execution. This is a form of warfare stripped of hesitation, where the value of human life no longer defines our tactical limits. The psychological consequence is profound. Enemies realize they are fighting a weapon that does not value its own survival. Traditional deterrence fails when your opponent feels no pain. The Valkyrie operates entirely beyond fear, and that terrifies those who depend on human weakness as leverage. The Valkyrie does not roar across the sky like an old jet. It moves quietly, stealthily, and often completely unseen. Built with radar-evading profiles and special composite materials, it can approach targets silently and instantly vanish into electronic shadows. That invisibility compounds the psychological impact, Soldiers cannot track what they cannot see, and what they cannot see, they begin to imagine. Rumors of its presence spread faster than any factual confirmation. A single strike by an unseen Valkyrie can paralyze an entire enemy region through sheer paranoia alone. Troops delay movement, convoys halt, and air defense units waste valuable ammunition firing at phantoms. The machine does not have to destroy everything. It only has to make its enemies believe that it can. Fear becomes its most efficient weapon. For decades, air power was defined by human heroism and the image of the pilot as the brave warrior. The Valkyrie completely redefines that image. It represents power without personality and dominance without drama. To enemies, it signals the end of an era where skill or bravery could ever equalize a fight. You cannot outfly something that does not feel pressure, does not tire, and does not rely on simple human reflex. This shift has strategic depth. Nations realize that air superiority is no longer about better pilots. It is about better algorithms. That realization breeds not just fear, but deep internal inferiority. It sends a clear psychological message. If your defenses still depend on human speed, you are already completely behind. The Valkyrie does not just challenge adversaries, it humiliates them. The Valkyrie represents inevitability. Its very existence signals the flawless fusion of artificial intelligence and military power in a way no previous weapon has achieved. It does not merely threaten like a traditional aircraft. It promises inevitable destruction. This symbolism carries a strategic purpose. The US does not even need to deploy hundreds to make a deep impression. The mere demonstration of the Valkyrie in exercises or media coverage generates crushing deterrence. Its cold image, sleek, faceless, and completely autonomous, serves as a psychological deterrent across all borders. Enemies imagine it overhead, even when it is not physically there. The fear of what it might do replaces the need to see what it can do. The drone is an emotionless, tireless, and precise, perfect predator. And that is why the XQ-58 Valkyrie is not just a weapon. It is a terrifying symbol of fear itself. Fear of obsolescence, fear of invisibility, and fear of a battlefield where humanity no longer defines the limits of war. The AI backbone of this entire system relies on layered autonomy. The first layer governs all flight and navigation, maintaining total stability, path optimization, and fuel efficiency. The second layer governs all combat, identifying threats, prioritizing targets, and executing engagement decisions. The third layer oversees cooperation, interpreting the powerful behavior of allies and adjusting tactics accordingly. Together, these seamless layers allow the Valkyrie to transition instantly between multiple roles: scout, decoy, jammer, or decisive striker. The code does not merely command, it converses with the mission. It negotiates between competing objectives, speed versus stealth, aggression versus safety, and decides in real time. This powerful architecture prepares the Valkyrie for the next undeniable evolution of warfare: human-machine teaming. In mixed formations, the drone can fly alongside manned fighters, feeding them sensor data, extending their radar coverage, or performing autonomous flanking attacks. Its AI interprets the lead human pilot's intent through encrypted signals and tactical cues, anticipating needs before a single command is ever issued. In practice, this turns a single human pilot into a complete force commander, orchestrating a digital wing of completely autonomous allies. The result is not human replacement, but the total amplification of power. Humans setting the overall strategy, and machines executing the plan with absolute perfection. Every single element of the Valkyrie's combat programming serves one cold end: precision through independence. Its algorithms do not aim to replace human judgment. They perfectly replicate its best aspects: pure calculation, total adaptability, and laser focus, but without the crippling limits of fatigue or emotion. In battlefield conditions where mere milliseconds determine victory, the XQ-58 acts faster than human thought, guided not by instinct, but by mathematics honed through millions of realistic simulations. The implications are absolutely profound. For our adversaries, this means the emergence of an opponent that cannot be distracted, cannot be deceived, and cannot be intimidated. For US commanders, it means a weapon that can operate deep within enemy lines without needing constant guidance, reporting back only after the objective is complete and secured. The drone's powerful combat intelligence also strongly reinforces deterrence. When a single autonomous aircraft can coordinate swarms, execute synchronized strikes, and completely survive in environments saturated with anti-access defenses, it totally changes the cost calculus of any future aggression. It forces adversaries to completely rethink any move toward escalation, knowing that human casualties are no longer a constraint on our speed of retaliation. Power projection becomes purely algorithmic, instant, precise, and infinitely scalable. Kratos engineers accurately describe the Valkyrie's programming as machine sovereignty. Once launched, it effectively becomes its own commander, guided by objectives, but completely unbound by dependency on any external command. It makes war efficient, but it also makes decision-making completely mechanical, flawlessly transferring the burden of precision from flawed people to perfect, repeatable processes. It is both an undeniable achievement and a final warning, a complete glimpse into warfare's next frontier, where intelligence is distributed across unbreakable code, and conflict becomes a cold contest of pure computation. The age of remote control is ending. The era of autonomous precision has begun. The future of air power is not measured in bravery. It is measured in absolute, total control. What you've seen is only the beginning. America's power is just getting started. On your screen is the next video. Click the video, it opens right away, and you'll watch US jets and technology strike even harder.